Okay, so let's start. Evangelicals. Y'all have completely ruined your image. I mean, it's been going down here for a while anyway, but this whole Trump saga, no. You can't claim the moral high ground anymore. You just can't. It's not possible. If you didn't care about the Access Hollywood tape, if you don't care about the things he said about women, if you don't care about the Miss Teen USA thing, if you don't care about all the other, if you don't care about what he said about people from Mexico, if you don't care about any of this kind of stuff, the moral high ground is no longer yours. I mean, I always thought y'all were full of crap. Anyway, seeing as how most of you are against socialism, but you take free money. Not to mention Jesus was a socialist. Heal the sick, feed the hungry for free. Sounds like socialism to me. But, evangelicals, moral high ground is gone. Next election cycle, what will your image be? Let's get some general information on you. Nine of Pentacles. This is where you start. The money people. You do have the money. You also have the influence. Ace of Pentacles. Not only do you have the influence, but you have the platform that many politicians, especially on the right, flock to. They want to know that they can talk to the evangelical base, and because they're going to come out, and they are loyal voters. They vote in every election. The Tower. This is at your base. That is at your base. So, what it looks like to me, already, just starting out, you may have the platform. Excuse me. You may have had the platform that many wanted to sink their pentacle into because you had some sort of influence. Like I just said before I even pulled the card, that influence is gone. You got the Tower. The Tower is you now. Moral high ground is gone. Page of Wands. This is where it starts. Ace of Wands. Now, what I will say is you all don't stay that way. Well, you will be that way because, I mean, let's face it, till millennials, church doesn't even exist hardly anymore. But to your base, they will always be there. To those who could be influenced by you, they will not be until you turn around some sort of image. But the church, I will say, like it, love it, hate it, or leave it, are the masters at magic tricks. So they could turn this around by just saying, you know, pointing at the sky and saying all is forgiven. That's kind of how that works. So there's a new idea. The Ace of Wands is not just a new idea, but it's a new action. So they will get behind that. Justice. That's what the news brings. It brings justice and balance. And your fear is the Chariot, naturally. The Chariot is about mobility and overcoming. So since this is your reality, this would be your fear that you will not be able to overcome because this is where you are now. your hopes. Four of Cups. To basically sort of reel your base back in. Because this is the offer being made. This is sort of like some is dissatisfaction sometimes. But what you're trying to get back to is, again, this is why this is your fear. You're trying to get back to that triumph. Because you still need to be the people of security and money. In your environment, Four of Swords. Got to sit this one out. Take a rest. Not just a rest, but a rejuvenate. Because you have to take a new action. You can't do a new action and be still at the same time. So this is more of a retreat, regroup, and then behind the scenes, Seven of Pentacles. Again, that makes perfect sense. There is a new action that you are trying to work on. Because again, you have to try to repair your image after the Tower. So a new action that you're working on. Then you retreat, regroup, and then you wait. New election cycle is pretty much here. So you're going to have to flex your muscle again, either for Donald Trump or whoever is going forward. Your word of warning is the Page of Pentacles. New money is not coming your way right now. Word of solace, the Eight of Swords. Your base is going nowhere. They are trapped and bound because it's a religion. So, that's not surprising. Trapped and bound is kind of the way it works. Outcome, the Moon. You'll get back to a place that you once were and nobody will know how. Or you won't get back to a place where you once were and you don't know how. We know how, so just ask us, because we know why this came along. You're hypocrites, but you don't see it that way. So if you make it back to your feet, which I think you will, because that's what the new action's about. If you make it back to your feet, the world will wonder why people still lean on the evangelical vote when they were willing to back up Donald Trump. Simple. Tradition. Tradition dictates that we do things the way that have always been done because that's the way I was raised. Brainwashing is what I call it, but tradition is the nice word. So, your moral high ground is gone. So, that leads me to ask, why do people still believe the evangelical Christian message when it is obviously hypocritical, and they supported Donald Trump? Because this can't be about Christ and God. This is brainwashing. Has to be. Because if you did truly what God wanted you to do, then you would take care of your fellow man. You wouldn't vote for a person who wants to cut Social Security. Republican Party would be pretty much dead if you really believed in God and followed what he taught. So, why? Three of Wands. This is where I get that tradition coming in. Like, this is what we've been doing. Ace of Wands is that new action. The Two of Wands is the preparation, getting it off the ground. It's also like a mentorship. And the Three of Wands, it's off the ground. Like, we're here now. Expansion. Like the overseer, even. Because a lot of the Three of Wands cards show that person looking out onto something. The overseer. Tradition. Brainwashing. Knight of Swords, rushing in. Chaotic energy. Page of Wands, news. Also, communication, something you've been told. Five of Cups. There is with the Five of Cups, there is like some drama to that. Some moodiness. Let's see what surrounds that. What surrounds the news is justice again. Balance. It gives you a meaning. Like, I would never go and try to take a person's religion from them. Like, I would never tell a person, don't be a Christian. Because, first of all, I have nothing to replace it with. So I can't give you comfort in the midnight hour like your religion can. So I wouldn't dare go to a person and say, don't believe this. However, I will say, if it ever came up, why I don't believe it. So it gives them a balance. Like, this is something that they need in their life. People believe in the whole heaven, hell, and God and devil system because it adds a balance. It gives them something to look forward to past mortal life. It gives them some sort of security that this is where we came from. That's why they hate science so much, because science keeps saying, oh, you came from, microorganisms and we just all evolved into humans and all this kind of thing. And you don't like that. And I'm not telling you to believe it or not believe it. I'm just saying that's what you don't like. King of Pentacles. That fatherly figure. Mind you, this is not the Hierophant. This is a person who seems to be getting something from the heavens. And that something from the heavens also seems to have hands in it. So, passing on the message. That's what, that overseer card with the 3, and then that drama, and then the person sort of creating this story about, Jonah and the whale, and, all these type of things. So it adds a balance. The fear is death. Literally. They don't know what happens on the other side. So it adds a balance. The hopes, the emperor, the authority, the God figure. It's always sort of depicted as a man in Christianity, and it is interesting that it's not depicted as a man in this card. Or at the very least, that man is wearing some sort of garb that looks like a dress. In the environment, the 4 of Swords, the retreat, the sort of rejuvenation, if you will. Behind the scenes, 2 of Swords, the deadlock, the stalemate, the indecision. When you get to that crossroads, you don't know what to do, you stop and you wait on the Lord. The Chariot is your word of warning. Your cards are repeating. Your word of warning. That is a card of discipline. Self-discipline. So although it is comforting and it adds a balance to you, that God is there and God is watching over you and things like that, something you also have to be wary of. This is also a card of being driven. God is not going to do for you what you can do for yourself. He's not your genie. So that's why that's your word of warning. Self-discipline. Stop relying on the system and start relying on yourself and your personal relationship. Word of Solace, Nine of Pentacles. Your security is yourself. And then the Four of Cups is your outcome. You always seem to go back to the moodiness and unsatisfaction, because this is not something that sustains you. I mean, we all go through ebbs and flows of emotion, but something you have to realize, there are things you can do for yourself that you should do. Everything else is God.